Welcome to the Journeyman Cave, a podcast where we meet and chat with some of boxing's most seasoned road warriors, hosted by Mark Shakespeare and Chris Scarfe.
Welcome back to the Journeyman Cave, everybody. Round 19, and with me as always, my very good friend, Mr. Mark Shakespeare. How are we doing?
Yes, spot on, mate. Really good. Looking forward to this episode today, mate.
It's a good one, this.
Yeah, surprised a bit for the length as well, didn't it?
I think we've said this before, and it's happened before. So we've got Liam Wright, just by the way. Record of how many? 17 fights, yes. I think. So we do wonder, is it going to be a shorter episode? Just not the case.
No. Great guy is Liam.
Yeah.
And he got into some great detail in some of his fights, which were a pleasure to listen to. And I remember I want to get Liam on the show, and he's definitely one of the people I messaged who thought we were taking the piss out of him. When I asked him to come on, he says, he even showed his missus. He goes, is this guy real or? So, but obviously now we like to call him a good friend now, Liam. He's a good supporter in us, and he's now got his trainer's licence. So nice. He'll have a fair few lads, in amateurs and maybe a couple in the pros in the future. So he's doing really well, and it's good to see him still in the game. And it was a pleasure to speak to him, wasn't it? Yeah, like I said, really enjoyed it. Smashing kid.
And a lot to say. And I particularly like the bit he gets into the dieting side and what he struggled with and things like that, because, I mean, it has been mentioned by a lot of fighters, but that must be such a nightmare, having to keep your weight, especially as a journeyman, constantly keeping your weight. And I don't like the thought of it, me, Shecky.
Well, he definitely likes his Pringles. I've already gone through 3 tubes in between fights at times, so respect to him for that.
Once you pop, you can't stop. So just before we do get on to Liam, I'd just like to remind everybody, you can support the show. Any support you can offer is brilliant. Doesn't have to be financial. If you like the show, just give it a share. Follow us on our socials. Leave us a review if possible. I mean, apparently that helps. And I hear a lot of other podcasts doing that, so I thought maybe we should mention, if you can leave us a 5-star preferably, but, happy for people to be honest. Leave us a review, and I think apparently that helps sort of like point it in the right direction, shows it on other people's timelines. If you are flush and you've got £3 in your pocket, you can buy Shecky a coffee, or you can even buy me a pint, and they're all on his Linktree, which is on all his socials. And if you're really, really flush, there are T-shirts available as well. Journeyman Cave logo, done by our friends at Blackford's Barnsley. So, all being said, shall we get Liam in?
We can. And before we get him in, though, we'll say thank you for him buying a couple of T-shirts as well.
Oh, we did? Yes, cheers for that, Liam.
Top man, let's get him in.
Right, Liam, thanks for joining us today. Made the long jip trip from Sheffield.
It's not too far. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
I'm just going to have to get this out of the way. I can see a football shirt underneath that top.
Yeah, red and white blades.
Is it red and white blades? Okay. We'll get a few of these, don't we? Red and white wizards, not blue and white ones.
Never get any Barnsley fans, do we?
I don't think we do, actually. Have we had any? I don't think we have.
No, Wager didn't follow football. Neither did Townend, did he? No. So, I've got
a good season, though, aren't you?
Yeah, no, not doing bad. I don't go as much. I think I've only been to a couple this year. I don't go as much now as I used to when I was younger. Well, my lad goes every week with my mum and dad, but it's I still follow it and watch it if it's on telly. I think they're on telly tomorrow, so I'll catch it when I get in from work.
Nice. Yeah. I'm going to say, though, mate, he's definitely my favourite guest. He's brought me a photo signed.
But somebody's actually given the one?
Yeah. That's the first person in how many?
I don't know. We've had about 6 episodes up top where you're whinging about it.
I know, but I see he's done his job, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So to me, he definitely needs to be plugged bigger than anybody else.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cheers, lads.
No problem. So,
yeah. So, like you said, mate, where did it all start off then, mate? How'd you get in?
I've been 18, 19 years old. Just a lad I worked with, Aaron. I've always been an exercise enthusiast. I'll call it an idiot and an addict to it. Like, and then I was just pumping weights, cycling, football, etc. And it just said, he boxed amateur for a gym. And I'm like, I'll give it a go. I won't mind doing it. I've always watched it on telly and watched the stuff. I like the training side of things. I used to think, that looks good. And then he said, come to this gym. It's not the gym that I go to, but I used to train there. They do keep fit. It's not a boxer's necessarily only. Yeah. I went there and then I think bar 6, I'm 38 next week. So in 20 years, bar 6 months, when I had an operation, I had a lump took out of my chest at one point, when I was about 22, 23, I think. I have probably been in there 3-4 days a week with Sean that trained me for 20 years. You create a family and stuff, don't you?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Characters in there, but I just used to love the buzz of training. So that was 18, I think I'll have been 18, 19, somewhere in that region. And then I didn't compete until I was 26, I think.
You were quite late, weren't you?
26. I always loved the training, 2, 3, 4 times a week. I trained with pros in there, amateurs in there, just wanted the buzz of training, but I probably didn't have the dedication and belief in diet and capabilities of boxing. And I remember asking Sean once, I used to go running with him, all the pros in the morning, on the track, everything. I used to do everything apart from box.
Yeah.
And I said, I want to give it a go. And he went, I've been waiting years for you to say this, but you've got to decide it.
Yeah.
But like I was saying before to you, like, I wish I'd have learned when I was a kid. Never competed, but learned the skills. I class it a little bit like swimming. So you learn to swim and then you decide if you want it, you can use it. So I wish I'd have learned the skills. And then as you experience life, don't you? I've got no regrets between my youth going out, doing whatever I wanted to do, having sort of not no care, but like just going on holiday, going out for a drink if I wanted to go out. I wouldn't have had the discipline to diet and compete at an early age. So like at 26 years old, I think I'm pretty certain I lived by myself at that time. And I just decided I'll give booze up, I'd give crisps, etc., all that stuff up, and I give it a go.
Yeah.
And then like from that day, probably, it might have been a little bit before that, probably give 8 years of literally, I only ever drunk when I went on holiday. Just the buzz of boxing, never mind winning or whatever, the training buzz and feel like you're improving. He just took over everything. Yeah. So I accommodated whatever my work were around. If I went out, and I did go out, I drove. And I'd come home at 11:30 because in my head I thought, bang, I'm up at 5 o'clock. I'll be on track. I'll be running. Yeah. I'll be doing whatever it is. I was never the fastest, the strongest, whatever you want. But if I said I were doing something, I were doing it. I've always prided myself that if I said I couldn't get to the gym to my trainer, like, I'm going out for a 5-mile run before all these apps become available. If you found me or you saw me, I'd be doing a 5-mile run. I wouldn't cut a corner in training. Dieting has later on become a problem, and that's probably the hardest thing that probably most people say about. But training, I've always loved it. And then I just got to a stage where I think I started off, I had one unlicensed bout to see...
You did then, did you? You had unlicensed bout, did you? I had one unlicensed
to see if I liked it, because my fear were amateur boxing would be too quick for me and too fast. I had one unlicensed bout and then spoke afterwards and said, like, I want to try amateur. And like, he was like, yeah, give it a go. And then I won my first amateur bout and I was absolutely over the moon. I was like buzzing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there's not many other feelings I can compare to that, apart from when my daughter was born, like as happy. Yeah. Like, I just thought, oh my God, this is like something. And then I set myself goals. I wanted to get to 5 amateur bouts. Now, whether I won or lost were no thing. It was the bouts, improving and learning. And I was doing something that I really enjoyed. I got to 5 bouts and I'm like, all right, we'll get to 10. And then I had one of my seasons as an amateur. I didn't win for an entire year, but I was improving. And I knew I was improving, and I just kept saying, Sean, who I always train with, he was like, it'll just click. You'll get the winning mentality back. It'll come. And then the head guards come off as an amateur. And I think I won 6 or 7 on bounce. But I moved gyms in that period of time to get more bouts. I moved to Aspire under Ronnie Tucker's gym, and there were 3 excellent trainers, Ronnie, Sharon and Adam, who were all brilliant with me. But before that, I'd trained with Sean all the time, and Charlie were my amateur trainer. And Charlie were really good. Him and Sean worked well together, but I wanted more bouts. Charlie used to work away because my goal was I wanted to go on the road.
Right.
As a boxer, that's I just wanted. So Sean always used to say, get yourself to a 50-50 record, get to 15, 16 bouts. We'll apply, we'll go to the board, and they'll either say yes or no, and we'll work from there. And I got to a 50. I think I got to 9-9, but I were at one point where I was 6-2. So then head guards come off. I just got a bit of a roll. Now the kids might not have been brilliant or whatever, but I got a mentality that I backed myself and a bit of belief. But I just used to like. I've never been one for selling tickets and stuff like that. I just like someone to ring me up and say, you're boxing tomorrow. And I'm like, yeah, no problem. My weight's all right when I'm amateur. I'll turn up. If I could get it off work, I'd be like, yeah, bang, perfect. And that's I just got the buzz.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask, like, what I found interesting that you said you planned from start to go on the road.
Yeah.
What were inspiration or thought process behind that?
Part of... When I started, I did the unlicensed. I remember doing it, I think 65 to 80 tickets at like 30 odd quid. And I thought, oh, this is all right, this. But then, like, I had a couple of bouts that I was not in the home corner as an amateur, just somebody else's show, but my friends come. And then I remember boxing once, and I ain't going to lie, I think I did 30 tickets as amateur. Like, they all turned up on door, and I stunk the joint out. I just blew up in first round. I think I got 2 or 3 points deducted for holding. I was poor. And then it got to the point, not where you're embarrassed, but I thought, I'm better than that. I don't want the pressure of, I think because all my mates were there, I wanted to look good or whatever it were. And then I come away from that where, like, I just used to want to box. And then when I moved to Ronnie's gym, he used to give you 10 tickets to sell. If you could sell 10, he weren't fussed. And there's no lie, I used to buy the 10 tickets myself and then sell them on the day. Right. To my friends there, or give them to someone and sell them for me on the day. So I was never out of pocket, but I wanted to give the money back to the club that invested their free time to me. Yeah. But that was the thing, is I just wanted no pressure, just turn up and box. And I knew my limitations. I think I was 30 years old when I applied to be pro. I ain't going to be an area champion because I weren't going to be a Yorkshire champion as an amateur or whatever you want a class. I weren't going to be a British champion. I weren't going to be an English champion. I weren't going to be a world champion. But for me, getting in that ring and competing for 4 minutes is a goal that, like, at 26 years old, we're a million miles away. It weren't there when I had that first amateur bout or first... But to become a professional boxer, there is kids out there that, like, I hadn't got the best ability in the world, and there is prospects out there who can sell hundreds and hundreds of tickets and not being horrible, are useless. Yeah. The white collar level, they're not, but they can sell tickets.
And that's what you're here for, isn't it, mate?
And that's what after 3 or 4 fights, I become to assess bouts, whether I could give it a go or compete. But coming back to what you said, that's where I just wanted to box.
Were you aware of journeyman and everything that?
Yeah. So like I said, I trained up at Dennis Hobson's gym in Sheffield whenever I first walked in, and they always, whatever pro trainer were there, always had prospects. And then when I left to go to a different amateur gym after that fight, when I blew up, I didn't used to train with Sean, who trained me for probably a 3-month period, and then, because of the job that I had, managing a supermarket, I used to have to work late. And the gym that I went to trained Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. So I used to work every Thursday, Friday late most times. So training twice enough wasn't for me to close the gap that I needed and believed that I had. Because I think I were a fit kid, but my limitation was my boxing ability. And that's what I needed to improve on. So I remember talking to Ronnie and saying, like, I need more thing. I'm not going spar at this gym. But then Sean spent time with me. Even though I'm not a pro boxer, we become friends, and he spent time with me and improved me. And every coach is always, you take something off everyone, but like I said, that's the photo I brought to you.
It means something to you.
It means something to me, is that obviously I've achieved what I've ever achieved, and it's not a world champion, it's not anything, but in my eyes, what I've achieved from a kid who's got severely limited boxing ability, which I probably haven't, but I'm just being critical on myself. He's helped me achieve that goal, and I can't thank him enough for what he's given me in 20 years and done for me. But like, that was my goal, is not necessarily to be, you call it a journeyman, roadman, whatever, away fighter, but like, I give it a go every single time, and that's what I just wanted. I just wanted to turn up and box, and no hassle of selling tickets. Yeah, you have to make weight and you have to do others, but like, it's the closest thing to amateur boxing is being on the road, because you're at that weight all the time. You got to be close to it because the phone rings. I mean, my first pro fight, I remember finished a night shift on Saturday night for Sunday morning at 8 o'clock, got a phone call saying, like, I'd got my medical booked up, my brain scan booked up Monday, I'd had my doctors, I'd done my bloods I'd done my medical, but not my bloods. And he was like, you might be able to box on Friday if your brain scan comes through clear. And then everything, I remember having my bloods stuck in McDonald's car park from doctor, just trying to get them fast tracked through. And they all come back by Thursday. I think they had to be back by Wednesday morning or whatever. This were all like Monday, Tuesday, brain scanning thing, bloods in them, tuck in car park, just to get them done so we could get through. We met halfway with doctor that sorted me out. And they all come by. And then Thursday morning, everything's come through. You're boxing Friday night. And then like, I was like, I didn't tell nobody about my mum and dad.
Right.
Yeah.
And like, I was like, I'm boxing tomorrow. I'm in my first pro fight. And my mum hates boxing. She was like, tell me, like, just message me, let me know you're okay every single time, and sort of whatever it is. But like, there were no weight on my shoulder. It was just to go and box and enjoy. And there's not enough. I don't think there's enough people around like that now. Because the belief you've got to win, nobody can win every single time unless you're an unreal talent. But selling tickets, it weren't for me. I don't like I like social media and stuff for some stuff, but I just used to like to turn up to gym and train.
Yeah, well, it takes all that stress off you, mate, doesn't it? I mean, there's no worse than being a home fighter and chasing people for money, 2 or 3 days before a fight, and it's like, oh, I really should be resting, doing this and doing that, and it's like, oh well, so and so still owes me 150 quid, and I need to get this money in. I think it's a good way just to earn a good living, and just for you especially, mate, you were dedicated to your craft and your fitness wise, weren't you?
Yeah, I mean, even like now, I don't do as much as I do. It depresses me, and I can't do as much as I want to do. But it's like I don't know, it's like an addiction of fitness. Like I was saying to you, Matt, before, I've done marathons, triathlons. Like, I've always been into my cricket, my football, all sports. I probably do too much sports and want to do too much stuff rather than being probably really good at any one in particular. But I put all them to one side when I played football once or twice since I was 26 because I wanted to box. I didn't want kicks in my legs and stuff I'd stop me boxing. Like, I did the cycling and the other stuff to help me thing and the swimming and stuff, but like all that sort of stuff went to one side because I just wanted to concentrate on boxing. Yeah. Now, like I said, I'm never going to be a world champion, never going to be an area champion, never going to be an English champion, but I were able to compete and give it a go every time I went, and that's what I tried to do. Yeah.
And nobody ever stopped you, mate, did they?
No, man, I'm quite proud of that, and don't get me wrong, I've said to you before, when we spoke before, like, I've turned bouts down. That kid's too good for me. You got to know your level for me. Like, most people I've boxed, I don't think I've boxed anyone who's had probably more than 10 bouts. Most debuts, early sort of bouts where I give them a go and try my best. And I know after 1 or 2 rounds whether I can carry on or I've got to be smart and learn to sort of cover up, move around and look after myself, because at the end of the day, I've got to go work next day. Yeah, or go home to my missus and my son. At that time, I didn't have my daughter. I've got to be able to go and do stuff with him, and there's nothing worse than going home when you can't.
Mm-hmm. No, you are definitely got your head screwed on, mate, definitely. I mean, in your gym, you had some characters in there, didn't you, as well?
Yeah, I was really fortunate at that time. One of my friends, when I first started, Kyle Whittam, he went pro, and I think I don't know if I were amateur then or just wanting to do it. He packed in, and then I was fortunate enough, I mean, for a long period of time, I boxed with people like Lee Connolly, Cassasane, Sam Matkin, Ben Davis were in there for a while, Ryan Hardy, Nathan Harder, Will Birkin. I've probably missed some others off in there, that really good kids that, like, people go out for sparring and move around, think, I was fortunate enough, and this is me being honest, is like, I was the bottom of the pecking of ability in there. So every time I sparred one of them in that gym, I was sparring somebody who were levels and levels above me and making me dig deep all the time. I had to dig empty out everything, whether it's 3 rounds, 4 rounds, 6 rounds, whatever it were. I had to be switched on because these kids were all better than me, and it were a test every single day. And to train alongside kids like that who are all good lads, and you have a good crack with it, you get a little family feel in that gym, and the atmosphere were unreal. And
I bet also as well they taught you.
Oh,
if
God,
you were doing something wrong,
yeah.
I bet they told you as well.
There's things now. I teach, I train amateurs. I've got my level 1 and I've just passed my level 2 for amateurs. I've got my pro trainer's license. I teach kids, and I always remember, like, silly little things, sparring with Lee Connolly. He used to talk to me all the time and coach and pass information on. It's just silly little things about when you're lazy with your jab, not bringing it back fast enough. And I mentioned to you before, and I say it to kids now, like, I remember doing it twice to me, went, bring your hand back, or I'm gonna hit you hard. And he did. Because it were lazy, I used to bring it back to my tit instead of where it needed to be. And then just little triggers like that, then you remember, bang, you've got to bring it back there. Kids like that, like Lee and Sam, Ben, all these kids coach and passing. If you're willing to absorb information of people that are better than you, or you deem to be better than you, and have got more experience than you, you'll only improve. You never learn, never stop learning, off people. And in that period of time, 4 or 5 years in that gym, it was absolutely buzzing. And Sean, like I said, at times he had 7, 8 kids in there that, like, prospects or wood box away, wood box home, just home fighters, just away fighters. You all got time, you all got his time, and you always got his attention. I mean, we used to train at 5 a.m. before work, and then we'd be back in afterwards, and he wouldn't do it just for one of you, he'd do it for all of you, whatever you could do. Like, it would say, oh, I can't get in Thursday, Friday this week. Right, can you get in Saturday morning or Sunday morning? I can open it up at 5, or bring so-and-so in or so-and-so in. Or what time do you finish work? 4 o'clock. Right, I'll open up at 6 for you, and when you come back, we'll get a session in. He'd give everything to any of us that were in that gym at that period of time. And I think the results and the performances and people in that gym, we had a buzz. That's
a dedication, that. I bet it rubs off as well.
Yeah,
if you can see that they're putting effort in, you're going to want to put
same, and then,
like,
you're training, like I said, when I'm training with kids that are levels and levels above what I think I were at, it only brings you on and gives you a buzz. But like I said before to you, Mark, like, I understood where my level was. Like, there'd be no point in me taking a fight against somebody who's a British champion for a 4-rounder, because I'd probably get blown away.
And then, like you said, if you get blown away, you're out for 28 days.
Yeah, 28
and you're losing
whatever it sort of is. And, like, my goal in boxing were to get to box pro for 2 years and then reassess. I did 18 bouts in 18 months. And then I reassessed, and like I said, we might speak about it a bit later on. The diet become the problem, not the training, the diet. The diet become I didn't have the dedication to diet anymore, and that took the fun away from it.
Yeah,
but it's like you say about levels as well. I mean, you said there, if you were in like with a future top star British champion, you might get offered 400 or 500 quid more for that fight, and some people would jump at that. But like you say, if you get blown away, you're out for 28 days, and you could fight twice for that.
But it's not just all you're out for 28 days from boxing. You can't spar in them days. You can't. You're medically. Then you've got to go see the doctor. So I can't remember what I bought. I think I boxed Tom Young in Barnsley. And before here, I got pulled by the doctor, and they were like, oh, you're here. Have you had whatever it is, scar tissue, I think he said. I'm like, never had it. He's like, you've had a perforated eardrum. I'm like, would I know? He's like, yeah, you'd be in agony if you'd had one. I'm like, I've never had one. Never had one. And then I think I got a letter through a week after saying you've been suspended for 28 days until you go to doctors to come back. I got no problem in my ears. Doctor went back and like, yeah, 5-year-old, you had a water infection or whatever in it. You did perforate eardrum or whatever it is, whatever damage I'd done when I was younger. But like that were about 8 or 9 bouts in it, and it had never been a problem. But then, obviously, it got pulled up, and it is your safety first. But in that period of time, you can't go in and spar because you're not insured. If there's an injury of that time until you go and send that letter back to the board for them, then say you're unsuspended, it is for your health and safety, realistically.
Yeah.
But
it's for the right reasons, but obviously it can be frustrating, like you said. And it's
like I said, I wanted to get a series of bouts in and come away with all my faculties intact and normality and achieve something that, there's no belts or medals there, but in my head and in my heart, I know what I've done and tried to do and achieved him, and nobody can take that away from me. I might not be the greatest, the best in the world, but every time I stepped in that ring, I gave 120% and tried. The kid beat me. He was better than me 9 times out of 10. And that's honest opinion. But I went in to win every single one of them bouts I went in.
You wanted to have a go, mate, didn't you?
Yeah.
And like you said, I think we should get Sean's surname in, shouldn't we? Come on.
Yeah, Sean Thickett.
We have to get his second. I didn't want to turn up, but I think it's only right to get. He's been a top man, Sean.
He had a period of time, like I said, he's quite a few of those away fighters, own fighters in there. Very underrated coach. Like I said, me and him work together now, coaching amateurs and pros together. So he's passing on, I'm working with him, and I'm just happy to work with him and learn. We do everything as a team now.
That's good, mate. So how's the gym going at the minute then?
So, really good. I mean, just first season as amateur affiliated. I've had a lad losing national developments final, and then I've got 3 amateurs at the moment, 3 more having the medical next week, and one of the lads will be turning pro over the next year as a home fighter. So
who's this then?
He's called Naphtali Nembard. He'll be applying to go pro at some point in the future. But like I said, we just started off just small gym. And to spend time with fighters rather than necessarily keep fitters all the time, if that sort of makes sense to you. It's an hobby, but it's something that I enjoy, helping people.
It could become a career, later on, mate.
That would be nice, and would be the plan in a few years' time. But like I said, we just get starting, just up and coming. We're not massive. I'm happy to just go under the radar and spend time with these lads and help develop.
Correct.
And improve them all.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, you've got the foundation laid. Never give up on your dream, mate. Go for it. Go for it, mate. And like I said, going into your pro career then, one of our East Coast lads, I'd like to see him actually one day.
Who's that?
George Rhodes. That's your debut, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think Barnes and Metrodome.
From Scarborough he is.
Yeah, I can't really. I remember it really well. But it was fast. Just like I said, it was relatively short notice. I knew in a reason that I'd come back a holiday in September, and I knew that I wanted to be boxing because I booked my medicals and stuff in for November. That November, December, I wanted to be making my debut, and then part of being on the road, journeyman, away fighter, whatever you want to call it, you've got to be ready within 24, 48 hours, 72 hours. You've got to be close to your weight. And I remember getting the phone call on the Sunday morning, like I said before, I finished the night shift, and then someone said, if all your medicals come back, you're going to box. And I remember telling him, I were 11 stone 1, I think we're boxing at 10:10, I were 11:3 that morning. And I messaged Ben Davis, he went gym at the time, he's like a genius with diet, and I'm like, Ben, I'm panicking a little bit, I'll be at this weight, will I do it? Give me some more advice. The lad's unreal for help.
We've had a few said this.
Unreal, man. And he knows what he's doing. I don't even know if he's qualified in it or whatever, but the stuff that he did, if you followed it, it worked. Like I said, when we get further down the line, there's times I come off it at periods of times I didn't use it, and I probably suffered from it, and it would become harder. But I followed it on the day of that weigh-in. I remember I'd had my breakfast, porridge, banana, bagel, dinner, chicken, broccoli, sweet potato. I come in underweight on it, absolutely flew it, and that's all from his help on that day. And then I went to beat George. I weren't good enough to beat him, and that's an open honest. I think I give a good account of myself. I think I lost 40-36, but I do remember that the referee at the time, we're talking to him, and I said, I was what score? Then he was like, I'll give you a round, and drawn a round, and he went, 40-36. And I watched it back at time, and I think I competed now, whether I did get a round or I didn't. And then he went, the ref just said that's how the pro game goes. And then just walked away. I were happy. I thought I'd give it a good go. One of the members of the board come to me afterwards and said, "Oh, you've done good on your debut there. Well done." And I was buzzing. And I'd achieved a goal that I never thought I did. Like, I didn't sell a ticket. I didn't tell nobody. The only people that were there were me and my trainer, and obviously my manager Carl Greaves. He was brilliant to me for me 18 months there. He was a top quality bloke. But they were the only people there. It was Carl's show. Obviously, I was boxing. I don't know if George were his fighter or whatever. I just did my job and went in there and give it a good crack. We weren't good enough to beat him, but he was a good technical boxer. And I walked home. Got a lift home by Sean. Got home. I think I drove to... No, I wanted to go to KFC for some food, but I think it was shut. And I just ended up going to my missus's, and I think next day I went to KFC for my dinner or something stupid like that. And then back Monday morning, I was back on following on my diet that Ben had helped me with for that period of time.
No, I'm glad you got that good buzz on your first, and mate, and you're proud in it. And like I said, I'm glad Barnes looked after you, mate.
I've had a few bouts in.
I know you
Metrodome,
have. And then you obviously, we've got a game in, haven't we? Jack Bellingham.
Yeah, I boxed Jack down Plymouth, and that were Cass were with us in that one. So there was Sean and Cassing car going down. Because Sean did Cass's con. I think he got a win on that show, Cass down there. But I turned up with the belief, I think Jack had one or two and won them. Didn't really know anything about him. I didn't really think. I didn't. I just knew if I turned up and I'd give it a go, I'll know if he's good enough. And he walked out in this scream mask, massive following. I think I was second to last bout on show. They were a title bout, that was last one or whatever it were. And to this day, he's the best kid I've ever boxed. The ability were unreal. He was just the speed, not necessarily powerful, but the speed of him and the quality of his boxing ability. Nobody I boxed in a professional ring is up to his standard. And I know he walked away from it because I think he's got a successful business or whatever he does. Life takes over at some point. But out of all the kids, 18, 19 bouts that I had, he's the best kid that I've boxed. And I remember coming home thinking, I think I've only hit him 3 times that entire fight. But I were unmarked up, no injuries, no cuts, no majorly bruised. I used to get a lot of sore shoulders and a lot of topper just here because I used to have a bit of quite a tight guard, and I'd just ride the shots. But come home next day, I'm back at work, and that is just part and parcel of it. People think, people used to say to you, well, you should be able to pack work up, you're earning loads of money and stuff like that. There's not much money in it.
And it's only for a certain amount. It's not a long career, is it? It's not. It's like I said, just short of 31 when I made my mum's short of 31 years old when I made my pro debut. And for 2 years would I passed work up in that period of time. No, if I couldn't get the time off, I couldn't get the time off. I mean, I'll tell you later on, I got a chance to box on, I think potentially on an Anthony Collar undercard, and I couldn't get the time off work. I was gutted. Absolutely gutted. Work had let me have the day off for the day before weigh-in. I got offered it. And then I couldn't they said, you have to do 5-3 on day. And I'm like, nah, man. So I remember just saying, Carl, I can't get off work. Would that have been against them?
I'm not sure. Somebody from Manchester. Right. If I went on BoxRec, I'd find his name. I think it was Ben somebody. I could be wrong. It was either me or another kid that had got it. They said, potentially you've got this fight. It was the week after. I think I'd boxed in Stoke against Ben Elland. I think it was the week after that. So I think it was a possibility before. Then it was like, no, it's not you. So I thought, all right, I remember going out after that. I think it was Bank Holiday weekend. I went out with Mrs. for curry and a drink. And then I think this was like on the Wednesday or Thursday. We're like, what's your weight like? Potentially might have a bout. I'm like, I'm only a pound or so. It's no. But it didn't happen, so I couldn't do it. Work's working. It's I can't miss work for
that's your bread and butter,
boxing. Mate. Yeah, that pays my bills. But that's probably only one sort of regret that I wish I would have liked to have done that. But I never boxed on a TV show or anything like that.
It's good to see you've done that, mate. Yeah. But then you went down. You another one went to Scotland, didn't you?
Yeah, a boxer lad called Gary Murray. Yeah, he was a decent lad. like again, that were another one when you think, I think I'd done a night shift, gone home for 2 or 3 hours, Kip, gone up in car, weighed in the sports centre. They put us up overnight in an hotel afterwards. Were good, but I remember boxing that. He's on YouTube somewhere, and always to this day, Sean takes piss out of me all the time because I've never been a ripped kid or a muscly kid, and you could just hear somebody in the crowd go, "Hit him in his fat belly," and he'd still say it to me now. Sean, Jim Jones, who were messing about. And Nathan I'm sure Nathan used to take piss out of me all the time for it. I just used to fucking laugh. I used to think I give it a go. But I remember afterwards, like, I can't remember what score we were, but I lost on points. I never, Jack, he was just too fast for me, Gary, just too quick for me. Not powerful, but just too quick. Better than me. Yeah. And that's the be all and the end all. But I remember I bought some chocolate raisins. Was it Raisin Chocolate Chew or whatever advert used to be? And he put us up in this hotel, and we got back, and I think we'd gone out for some fish and chips after me and Sean. And I got back to the hotel, and I'm like, I want these chocolates. And my jaw was sore. I couldn't chew them, and he was showing me like, well, gears one. I'm like, no, man, I'm not opening them until I can eat them. But no, I think Gary ended up boxing a really good kid, and I think he had a bad injury. I think he's all right now. I think he had a brain surgery or something a long time. But like, I've messaged him odd time on thing in Facebook, and I wouldn't say we're friends, but like I see that he's all right. But like I said, he was just better than me, better than me. And it's not no shame losing to somebody that's better than you in my eyes, and I give it a go, and I weren't as good as him.
That's good to hear, mate. Like he says, I'm glad he's all right from his whatever happened to him. But we'll put him on a little black tick though for not being able to eat raisins after.
Yeah.
So in the jaw,
I always
mate.
remember that, man.
Definitely. And then we had Luke Bashfield, didn't we, as well?
Yeah, box Luke in, I think it was Nottingham or less. No, it'd be Nottingham. And took it. I thought, stand a chance here, but then I was like, I looked on Box Rec Southpaw. I thought, fuck. Southpaw, man. I think I'd only boxed a couple as an amateur. I think I beat both Southpaws as an amateur. But then, like, I was training with Nathan Hardy I think I had like 3 or 4 weeks' notice for this one. And it was quite good. I think I'd already took a bout, whichever one I had before, knowing that I've got this one. And then Nathan had been training Southpaw because he could switch. And Nathan was a good away fighter. He had some good upsets. And absolute nightmares. Every time we'd spar, we'd do 6, because I was doing 6-2s for this one. For some reason, they wanted to do 6-2s. So it is what it is for me. So it's just a bit of change of pace. Absolute nightmares in sparring with Nathan. I'm thinking, just going home thinking, I'm going to get hammered. I can't do Southpaw. I'm struggling with him. Nathan's hit me. When I turned up, Luke could be the nicest kid in the world. It was the easiest fight I've ever had. Easy. I don't think I got hit more than 4 or 5 times the entire bout. And I had the same referee did me in a couple of bouts, and I genuinely believe that was my first win. I was absolutely confident. I went into from the obviously 6 rounds in that 6-2s. I went into the last round thinking I've pissed this. Sean really happy with me, saying like he's honest with me. He's honest, and that's what I think some people can't believe. He's come back. I think you've done blah blah blah. You've done what you needed to do. You've done enough. You've got that. Or you'd be like, you've lost that round. Be careful. Whatever needed to be said, he said the truth to me. He didn't butter it up. And I didn't get to the point at the end of the bout. I think, oh, God, I should have won that. Or, damn, how have I lost that? Or, like, we were always honest with me. We were never far off between the two of us. The ref gave me 1 round. I was absolutely disgusted. I've got a photo somewhere. It was a joke. And then walking, and that's the only time I remember seeing Sean get angry. I think one of the officials told him to leave ringside or whatever because he would feel like I'd lost 1 round at being generous. Yeah. He could be the nicest kid in the world, but that was in my time. That was my genuine belief. That was my first victory, and that ref had took it away from me, and I had him for another fight, and then one of the other fights. A kid low blowed me 3 times, and on the second time he said, I'll take a point off you, and he did it again, and he didn't do anything. And I just think it is what it is when you're away from home. You don't get the rub of the green on certain sort of things, and I get that, and I've always understood that. After a couple of bouts, you get to understanding what your role is and what you need to do. But that fight, I genuinely believed I'd won that bout, and I ain't got the result. But at the end of the day, I went home. I was safe, no injuries. And
You know, deep down, mate,
I could go again. And yeah, that's what I said to him. I think I had 18. I think 18 bouts. I probably genuinely won 4 or 5 of them and a couple of draws. Then the other ones I genuinely lost, and I'll give an honest opinion to anybody. Like, if I've lost, I've lost. I'm not good enough, or the kid's better than me. And that's that. I think that's, you got to be honest with yourself. And there's a lot of kids out there that are not honest with themselves, who box in their home corner and away corner, and think in pros and amateurs. And if you're honest with yourself, you know what is what. Like, everybody's got their limitations, what they're good at, what they're bad at, etc. But for me, it's all about being honest. There's no point in buttering it up, telling somebody that they've won when they haven't. But that fight is probably the only, time I thought I've absolutely pissed a fight in pro and amateur career that I've walked it. It's easy.
Even disheartening that when you do that, and it just gives you a round.
Kicking guts, isn't it?
It's tough.
And then we had John Wheatley as well, didn't we, mate?
Yeah, I went down to Essex for that one. I think I lost 39-38 or 39-37. I thought it was a draw.
Yeah.
There'd been a genuine thing. It was a good fight. John was a good kid. I don't know if he's boxing since, but he's the only person in my entire boxing career. I've got a scar at the middle of my head. It's probably as big as a fingernail, but I got a cut. That's the only injury I've ever had through boxing. Like, that's of any damage. I've had bruised hands, black eyes. I've never had any cuts, anything. He's the only person apart from that cut in the middle of my head. And like I said to you, my mum didn't used to like boxing. And I always used to get my hair cut the day before I boxed or try, because you wanted to feel all right, don't you?
Yeah.
A bit of an image thing. But I had stitches put in my head, only a few. And doctor went like, you can't wash your hair for 10 days or put any gel in. I thought, I got to go work. I got to work shirt, tie for work. I just had my hair cut, so I got to wait a few days. And my mum was like, "Why you got no gel in your hair?" I'm like, "Oh, no." I never. Well, she probably knows now, but I never dared tell her that I'd got a little thing. And when I went for stitches, like, I'm not squeamish or anything, but like, I just went right dizzy when she did it. I didn't faint her out, but like, I was like, "Oh my God," just went red hot. I thought, oh God, I'm glad I ain't had any more. Like, you see kids, don't you, with all face covered, battered, bruised, all stitches all over. I thought, Jesus, if I had to have all them took out. But then I think I probably had a bit of time off after that. I never stopped training, but like after that, I think I probably had 3 or 4 weeks or a month off. I used to try and do it in patches because it used to take a lot out of me. I never stopped training, but like I used to try and have 3 or 4 bouts in maybe 6 weeks, or 3 bouts in 6 weeks, and then take a bit of a break, because I used to try everything. Like, there's some kids that are obviously, they got good skills, can manage their way around, but like I said, I'm addicted to training, so I used to train 2 times a day, 4 days a week, 3 times a day, 2 days a week, and then I'd have 1 day off.
You're a monster, mate, with training. You really was.
Hit it with a diet. If I ate properly, I'd probably be in shape. But that's what I wanted to do all the time. So even when I took time off from actually fighting, I was not out of the gym. I would just, but that's, like I said, that's the only injury I've come away from boxing in probably an 8-year amateur and pro career. Is in all my time. I've got a little scar the size of a fingernail on
one
finger.
Battle scar. And your mum now knows about it as well.
But I remember coming back at end of round, and I saw blood coming down, and I thought it was John's. I was buzzing. It gave me a burst. I thought, I've cut him. I'll go a bit more. And I just joke people like, hands a feather, man. There's no power in him. And I just give me a bit of a buzzing, and Sean's like, "That's your head, Liam." I'm like, oh, fuck. Well, like I said, that's the only injury I've ever received properly, about black eye and stuff. No cuts apart from that in me. No broken bones, no anything. And probably lucky compared to a lot of people. No concussions, no broken noses, no things.
Well, mostly I mean, apart from Thorpe come on. We had Thorpe on it a week or so ago, and he said, I think it 139 fights, never been cut.
Yeah,
so that is some going that. So you're doing well there.
Like leather, I'm assuming.
You had some, that's for sure. And then we had Lee McGee, didn't we, as well, mate?
Yeah, I think Lee goes under the name of Bobby. I boxed him twice.
Yeah.
I think first time I lost to him, it might be by a point, and I thought I'd done enough to draw or even nick it.
Yeah.
But he was a good boxer. And I boxed him again. And I remember, I think I boxed 3 fights I boxed the second time round I boxed him, I think I boxed Lee McGee. Then I boxed, that might have been a Friday night, but I think we were in Leeds Ellen Road in banqueting suite. I'm sure it was end of November or start of December the second time round, and I used to work for a supermarket. I still work at a supermarket, but the one that I worked in, it was Christmas time. So I think I'd done I'll say 6'6", 6'5", or whatever it were. Got home. I only used to live a mile away. Rob Riley picked me up for this one, because if Sean had got prospects out, I used to go with Rob. I was happy to go with anybody in my corner. I think Rob Riley and Wayne Reed took me. And I'll go on. Rob Riley's cornered me for a few, and he's a brilliant bloke and used to help me out a lot. If Sean couldn't get in the gym, I'd go and train at Rob Riley's gym. Rob's a top bloke. I think he picked me up at my house. So I'll say I've done a 10, 11 hour shift, whatever it is. And my job's not necessarily physical, but I'd probably put 30,000 steps a day in. Travel, go in. And I thought, because it was a close fight the time before, I did train hard. But I thought, get a little bit more. Well, Lee were just a lot better this time. I think I lost 40-36, 40-37. I couldn't get past his jab this time. He was just too good for me. But he was a good kid. I don't know if he still boxes or anything. I never really spoke to him afterwards, but the complimentary bit in the ring. Like I said, I just generally wanted to box and go on.
And that's credit to him, though, isn't it, to go away.
He'd gone another level up from the time before when I fought, because I was quite happy when they said box. The Carl rung me up and said, "Do you box so-and-so?" I'm like, I've boxed him before, I'm sure I've only lost by a point, and it was tight. And I was buzzing and thought, it's a win. There'll be a win coming, because it was close last time, and I thought I'd improve from then and give it a bit more. But he'd gone another level up.
Yeah, from that a lot sometime when a lot of journeymen, obviously, as you know, they do fight people more than once, don't they? And a lot of them will say, "Oh, I fought him first time," but when he come back second time, you know what I mean, he was another level.
Yeah. I might have boxed him on his debut before, and obviously he might have got a bit more composed, his nerves or whatever it is, to start off with his debut. You don't know, but like I said, the second time round he was a lot better, and it was I wouldn't say a hard night, but he was just better.
And then who'll put you down, mate?
Tom Ansell in York Hall.
I'll black mark him and all then.
Yeah. Tom's still going. I don't know if he's got a British title or a English title fight coming up, but he were a good lad. But that fight gives me a lot of. That's the one that triggered me. That thought, I've not got long left, as in from how I probably could have gone a couple more years, but I agreed to box at 11.3. I'm a small 10, 12 if I made that weight. Yeah. I'm not powerful. I took that fight at that weight. 4 round of York Hall, 14, whatever bouts were on, and I got there. Rob Riley Sean took me for that one. Rob Riley took me for Ricky Heavens in York Hall, the one before. So it took me down. I got there, and I was like, we asked if we could, a sort of fight order, and I was like, I'm second last. 4 rounder. I went up and asked. I said, can you move forward? I've got work at 6 in the morning. And they went, now he's biggest ticket seller on the show. I thought, fuck's sake. Sorry for swear. For God's sake, boxed him, first round. I'm pretty certain his first round he knocked me down. I think it was a bit of tobacco to the head, but he was a strong kid. Caught me, and I was absolutely fuming, because like I said, you've got levels in boxing, but nobody in the level that I boxed as an amateur and a pro, nobody knocked me down or really hurt me. But he put me down. It didn't hurt, but it was strong, and I got up and I was absolutely fuming. But he'd done me. And I'm telling you, Mark, before I got back at the end of the first round, I got a dead left arm, because he'd just give me like an old school dead left arm. I've got a photo on my phone. My arm from elbow to my shoulders just blue. Same colour of your jacket. Because all he did was hit that arm all the time.
Clever.
And then he caught me over back at head, and then I think I must have caught him with a right hand. I remember coming back at the end of the first round to Sean and going, my arm's dead, I can't move it, it's hurting. He's like, shut up, stop moaning, get up with it, stop being sloppy or whatever it is, because you got to bring your hands back. That's why you got caught, because I threw a lazy jab or a lazy left hook, whatever it were. And I think I caught him with a right hand or didn't hit it right. And I always used to have this thing where I like my thumb wrapped up a lot. Like, I don't always punch properly, so I might have slapped. Yeah. And I'd gone over and I felt my hand warm, or swelling up a little bit. It weren't broke or anything. All right, but then like I had 3 rounds where I got no left arm and my right hand were thing. And I think I just ran for 3 rounds. Ran, held, covered up, blocked. It was the hardest night I'd had. Like, Tom's ability is good. He weren't as good as Jack Bellingham. Like I said, ability-wise, Jack weren't real, but that was a hard night. I'd gone at a weight that I didn't even have to diet to make 11.3. I remember we weighed in, and I think I'd not ate properly, and I'm not even going to lie. I'd been eating like my diet, but no control over portion size, having extra sort of stuff. And I thought, I got a little bit of extra cash for this one, doing the weight, because I said I wouldn't do above 11.1, and they went, can you do 11.3? Blah, what it is. And then something hit me in my head there, and we were on a journey on the way home, and I'm like, if I can't make that weight, I'm not boxing again at that weight. I've got to do that weight. Like, I weren't powerful enough and fast enough. I was saying to you before, you do different size gloves. So if I'd have been more dedicated, I probably could have made 10.7, 10.8, but the gloves go smaller.
All right.
I ain't fast enough for that, and I'm not strong enough to keep them kids off me. So I used to try and hover between 10 to 12, but like I said, Tom's a good lad, but that's the only time, that's the frustration from me, that if I'd have just, that little blip for 5 seconds would have never happened. I'd have had nearly 40 amateur and pro fights and never been put down. Yeah, it happens in training and stuff when you're sparring better kids, but like, nobody ever, but I got through that fight in my head with no right hand and a left arm that were dead. And then the next day I went to work, and I think I had to get my missus up to put my shirt on. Like, because I put my left arm with it. But then I got a drive on from Sheffield. At that time, I used to work at Eckersfield, or at supermarkets out there, so I had to drive. And I remember putting my left foot on clutch, like, and moving my right hand across to change gear. And it was probably about 10 days where it was battered. Like, it was just dead arm. And it just was just a little trick.
He took you to the trenches, didn't he?
It good. Like I said, a good kid. Beat me fair and square, but just outschooled me on some stuff, and that had not happened before. I would have said he bullied me, but I couldn't keep him off because I got no right hand and I got no left arm. So I just had to run and hold. I got through it. I didn't get stopped, and for me that's another achievement I got through.
That is credit to you, that, mate, to get through that. You come through all that.
He were better than me, so I would have lost with both of them in any case, but I managed to survive and get through. So
let's go out of that trenches and let's go on to this W. Let's tell us about this victory.
Yeah.
Down in Leicester.
Yeah. Like, I often you get, like, Carl management, he was really good, and he used to ask me if I wanted to box at home regular times. And I'm like, I've got no interest in it. I had no interest in selling tickets. I don't know if I could have or whatever, but it was like, I get you an own fight, you stand a chance. And like, the man's a credit to boxing, he's still going now, and he was brilliant to me. And I'm like, no, I want to get a win away from home. I'll get one at some point. If I don't, I don't. There's people better than me that have not got wins. So I took this fight in Leicester, and I think Kid were on his debut.
I think he was, yeah.
I knew my time were up in a period. I'd mapped out at that time. I was working 5 days a week, management in supermarket retail. I was studying 2 days a week on my days off in personal trainer level 1, level 2, level 3, nutrition, spin, circuit, all that sort of stuff. I wanted to do that for like sort of my coaching we spoke about. So at that time, I was a constant 7 days a week, and I took this fight thinking, bang, I'm going to give this one a go. I'll give it a real go. Like I said, I think Ben were helping me with my diet again. I'd messaged him before because I think I'd had my brother's wedding and I knew got this. And then I didn't drink. I don't think I drunk, but I ate well. And then I got 2 or 3 weeks to get the weight, which I weren't for. I think I missed weight by a pound, and I was fuming because I'd done everything, but I'd probably not. I must have cut a corner somewhere along the line. But I got this, and I got in the ring, and everything felt good, man. Everything felt good, but towards my last few fights, I said to you before, Mark, you know when your time's coming.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't dedicate myself to the diet. And obviously I missed weight by a pound on that thing. Fortunate enough, I didn't take any money off, probably because my record stands on boxing somebody or whatever. I'm 15, 16 bouts or whatever and not won, not stopped nobody. I'm not a danger, am I? I'm not a knockout artist. But to make weight, I weren't doing the right I were eating. I weren't eating, I weren't cutting water, so I was doing that stuff right. But like for 3 or 4 fights, I probably run a half marathon the day before, 4 or 5, 6 miles in the morning, and then doing it late at night just to get close to the weight, as it were. And I used to think, it's a bit idiotic. It is, but how fit were I in my head? I'm fit enough to do that, turn up and give it a bloody good go. And then this day, I turned it there, and after the first round, it were tight. And then I remember Sean saying to me, like, you beat this kid. Stick it on him. Stick it on this kid. And I don't know him. I've never spoke to him afterwards. But all something clicked in that fight that I wanted to hurt this kid. As in, like, win. I wanted the win more than anything. And I believe that I could got it. And when it sort of come at end, I think it was 39, 38, whatever it was, I thought, oh, God, I've been done again. And my hand got raised. I was absolutely buzzing. I can't even describe feeling it. Had been 2 years, probably 2 years since I'd won as an amateur. Might even been longer. Because I think I last boxed as an amateur in May, and then I had my pro debut in November, then cycle another year round. It'll have been September, October time, whatever it was. So you're probably touching 2.5 years without a win or having that feeling, and you speak to anyone, you get your hand raised, there's not many buzzers that give you that thing, and I'm absolutely buzzing after that. I went home, I'd achieved something that, like I said before, I was never going to be a world champion, British champion, English champion. I just wanted to compete at a professional level and give something. So I knew my job, it was testing prospects, so knew 3 to 5 fight kids. That was sort of level I were at. But like, I'd give this kid a hard night and I would buzz, absolutely. I'd done something that I wanted. I just wanted one win to say that I'd done it. And I managed it. But I got a fight booked in the week after, and then I think one booked in Barnsley a couple of weeks after. I pulled out of the one the week after because I knew the one in Barnsley were going to be I discussed it being my last one. It weren't a fish. It was my last one, but like in my head, I was taking a break from them because my medicals were running out like 3 or 4 weeks after, and I was going to have till February off to have a bit of a break because, like I said, I'd been working 5 days a week, studying 2 days a week for probably 6 months. And I got a missus and a son, so I need to spend some form of time with him. And it's like my missus has always been brilliant with me and supportive, and like never necessarily moaned about me being out of house, whatever hours it is, working stupid hours and training. I still do it now, coaching. Not as bad as probably when I was fighting up at crack of dawn all the time, but like I said, that win in Leicester, I can't describe a feeling. Like, it's the closest is when my daughter was born, but like, it's a different feeling of happiness. It's just something that was more of a pride and an achievement that nobody can take that from me. I've managed to do that on the road against all odds.
All the odds. And you earned that.
Yeah.
You earned it.
And I'm like, it's not given. Anyone who boxes on the road, it's hard. It is a hard, like, your mentality changes knowing that you potentially could box out of your skin. You could lose by a point or you're going to get a draw. Yeah. You see it at top level. So never mind small level when it is. But like I said, like...
That's your world title, mate, there.
Yeah, and that's what it is. Everybody's got a level. And that was my level. That kid was there for me to beat that day. So some of my luck were obviously, something went right that day, that clicked, that I was better than that kid on that day. And it had happened before and not got results, but nobody could take that away from me.
Definitely not.
I
should be happy. You've achieved that, mate, and you deserved it after that career you had, mate. Anybody else you'd like to mention? I mean, I'd like to talk about Hardy Brothers with you as well in a bit. But anybody... Because I think we've done well with your career there, mate.
Yeah.
I mean, how long was that there altogether?
Maybe up to an hour.
See what I mean?
Told you I don't shut up.
No, but it's good quality content.
It's not a bad thing, mate, honestly.
And I says, this is your story, Liam, mate. You deserve it. You've been on road. Like I said, you've got that win on road. You've been on... Nobody can ever take that win away from you. You've had 18 fights, been put down once. It's a cracking career to have, mate. And would you like to have more if possible, or...
Yeah.
Would you like to start before you did?
I would have liked to start before. I wish I'd have learnt to box as a kid. Mm-hmm. I class it a little bit like the swimming. Like, I think if you learn and then you go away and then you can come back to it, because you've got to be... It's not like football or cricket or rugby or whatever. You don't just train once on a Wednesday and then turn up on a Saturday or a Sunday. You've got to... Like, the kids that I train, I said, like, everybody trains 3 times a week. If you're a box, everybody trains 3 times a week. It's what you do outside of there. I wouldn't have that dedication as a young lad, but I would have liked to learn the skills and then maybe start boxing at 23, 25 when it's there. But you've got to have no distractions out of there. You've got to, like, I used to go out with my friends, but I'd drive all the time. You might be classed as the boring one or whatever it is, but, like, nobody can take away from what you've only got one life, haven't you?
Yeah.
You've only got one life. There's always going to be times to go out there and have a drink with your mates or whatever it is, or whatever you decide to do. But for me, you've got what's the word for it now? Father Time catches up with you or whatever. Your body clock's only got something. And like for me, I just wish I would have done 2 years earlier and probably maybe got 4 years as a pro, or an extra year amateur and an extra year pro. That little bit more experience, that little bit more ring craft. That maybe I might have boxed a few better kids and got a few better results. But you never know. I don't walk away now unhappy with what I've done. I'm really proud of what I've done. Like,
you should be.
That's just me. Like, you do what you do. If you've got regrets, you've done something wrong down. Like, everybody always wants us to do something, but, like, you've got to do them, make them right decisions at them right times, and everybody's different. But for, like, me, I made them decisions at that time when I were able to sacrifices that I made and given, I will happily do. But it does take a lot. Like, these people out there, like my friend Lee Connolly and Cass, they must have boxed for on road touching 10 years. That is an absolute unreal achievement. There's other people out there that I don't know them, like Daniel Ford, Jason Nesbitt, people like that, and Matt Seawright, all these, I think, was it Kevin McCullough, all these that boxed for years upon years on the road. Like, now I don't know whether it's a full-time job or what, but if you're working alongside doing that and you've got family, you are sacrificing so much on that time. I just wish I'd have learnt the skills a little bit earlier and maybe maybe got 30 fights or whatever it is. But I don't walk away thinking, oh God, I should have got there. I should have done this. What I did, I'm happy with. I would have liked a few more wins. But at the end of the day, every time I boxed, bar a dead arm on one of them, I've gone home healthy and able to do something the next day with my family, or whether able to turn up to work, and that's, I've come home uninjured and bar a little cut on top of my head, no battle scars. And where there's people out there who've got really bad injuries, but like I said before, I was lucky enough to box with some great characters in that gym. Yeah, Hardy brothers, man.
Come on, tell me about these Hardys. What daftest?
We've met Ryan.
Ryan's funniest kid you'll ever meet. And Nathan's.
Are they like chalk and cheese, or are they similar?
Ryan's an absolute wind-up merchant. He'll get under 99% of people's skin. But, like, you used to spar with him, and he's nipping you, biting you, talking to you. Like, however good the kid is, powerful, poor, whatever, you're hearing with, is that all you've got? You're an absolute dog shit. Or whatever it is. He used to wind Lee Connolly up, furious between each other. But they both do the same. They bite each other, then take the gloves off at the end, and we're all laughing and joking, but they're doing it. He's doing it Ryan used to do it for a reaction. He's an absolute top character.
He said he used to be able to get under Lee's skin.
Yeah. But they knew what they used to... He could do, where Nathan is a lot more quieter But Ryan's a wind-up merchant with his mouth and in the ring, like the antics he used to do. I remember going to watch him up, I think it was like Newcastle or Hartlepool or something. And blokes in the crowd after his box offering him to buy him drinks because the stuff he did in the ring was just ridiculous. Like, people can't do that stuff. But Nathan, if you moulded them together, you put Ryan's character, Nathan's a vicious man in the ring. He could hurt you. Yeah. And like, his
record shows that.
If Nathan could sell tickets, he would have been an English champion minimum. Like, he gave people on the road nightmares. And like, I was lucky enough to spend 2 years training side by side with Nathan. We used to go running, talking, probably become like really good friends over a period of time. But he's quiet. You got to talk to Nathan to get out of him. Where Ryan will just talk to anybody, and they mix them together. They're brilliant lads. Like I said, like Lee Connolly's top class kid, talk to you all day long. Casa Singh, hilarious man, absolutely hilarious. And we used to have good times. And I looked up to all these, and some of them are younger than me, but because of the abilities, I looked up to these kids, what they achieved before I got there, and they've achieved a lot more than what I achieved, better boxes. But I looked up to all these kids and just think, like, I'm in a gym with these, none of them maybe world champions, a couple of central area champions and competed at good levels. But all these kids, they're good lads. And like, everyone says boxing's an individual sport and it's an hard sport. But if you've got a team of people in your gym that makes you want to go to the gym and gives you a buzz in there and give you a feel in there that it's a family feel, and however hard it is, you go on a run with different people, or you got your circuits, your sparring, whatever, how hard the session is. There's 2 or 3 that you don't want that kid to beat you, or he'll drag you through it. If you're having a bad day, so and so will drag you through it. And I was lucky enough to spend time with these people, whichever side their mentality were in. If Ryan wanted to box on road, he knew he was good enough to box on road and cover up. But if he wanted to cause somebody a nightmare and beat him, he'd probably beat him. Yeah. 9 times out of 10. Where Nathan, I remember, I think he boxed on his debut and coming back. I think he knocked the kid out, clean out. And I always remember him saying something like, bloke, other kids' trainer said, come on, that's something stupid, Tim. And Nathan, I think Sean tells me, he knocked kid out and went up to the trainer and said, told you I could punch. something stupid like that. Not kid clean out.
He could do that though, Nathan.
He had that power, that viciousness and spitefulness of wanting to hurt people. I never had that. I didn't have the power and I didn't have that in me. But some people have that, and like he's a top bloke, and the same as Ryan and all the people I train with in the gym.
Nathan's definitely with the best of them anyway, with record. You know what I mean? We had a fair few fights, did Nathan?
But most of them fights, like, no, people won't know, and if you ever have him in or whatever, he got bad hands after like second or third fight.
We talked about it before, haven't we?
I think he said he needed like plates put in his hand, but they wouldn't put them in so his hands used to blow up. So, and he used to box week in, week out, and he'd train, but a lot of time maybe one-handed or whatever it sort of is. But a nightmare, switched, ridiculous. If he wanted to beat somebody, he'd beat him or give him a bloody good go in there. But like I said, that Nathan and Ryan top. You can't.
And do they get on well together? They really.
Think so.
Yeah, I think they do. I think they do. But
who's eldest?
I think
Ryan.
I think Ryan is.
I think Ryan's my age.
Yeah. But it'd be interesting to get Nathan on. But I know he works with board now, don't he? So.
He's an inspector, I think, now for board, and I think he might be a timekeeper as well, or training to be timekeeper, something like that.
But to be able to punch like that with his hands as well,
power.
Deserves a lot of respect.
Brute power, Nathan. But no, they were top class. Like I said, like I've trained with good kids, really good kids that were levels and levels above me, and that were only like helped me.
But you compete with them, you should be proud of that, mate.
Yeah.
And levels, I reckon a bit more trained, mate. Levels above, you're better than you thought, mate. I think sometimes you put yourself down a bit.
A lot of stuff glass half full, and then when you get there, you're there to stay. And I have that mentality that when I'm good enough for something, I want to stay there. I don't want to get there to be kicked back down, and that's probably where it needs, in my thing, when you want to do something, I don't want it to be a fluke. I want a bit of longevity on something, so you're there when you're ready to be there.
And at the end of the day, mate, you've done things your way, which is the right way for you. You've come away from the sport like you said, no injuries. Should be proud of that. And we didn't get a world title out or any title, did we? But we did get a nice Volvo, I heard.
Yeah. I just looked after
your money.
Just looked after this. Look, I didn't waste none of my money. I lived off my wage and just looked after the few pence that I heard out of it. Bought a car and then a couple of holidays with my family. And that's, for me, it was additional.
We've still got that Volvo, haven't you?
Yeah, I'll have that until it drops, man. That's every time I go out in the morning or see it, and I think I've worked for that. Yeah. I've worked for that. It's like when you come home from work, if you had a bad day, you're paying your bills, aren't you? You think that's for your house, so you're putting food on the table. I look at that car and think that's my achievement. That is my world title. Like, it's nothing flash or anything, but because of boxing, I'm able to buy that and not worry about taking the money out of my wages. The boxing money helped me for it, and it's not a spanking new car. Well, it's touching 7-8 years old now, and it's still going strong. And that's me. It sounds sad, but that's like what I look at, and that is my title. If that
I
makes
think
sense.
so. I think you should think that is. Kids still aren't allowed to put their feet on it, are they?
No, they do, but it can be a thing. Like, and I said to my lad, like, "No, I work for that car." Like, jokingly, and I'm like, not much or whatever. I'm like, get your feet down. I can punch you in the head for that. Like, jokingly, thing. But that is just what it is, isn't it? It's like, you could have, the money that you earn's not enough to start working or whatever. By the time you've paid your trainers, your managers, your taxes, whatever it is on there, you just got to look after it. Like, for me, like, that's the biggest thing, is like, too many people blow what they get. I didn't.
Yeah. And you should be proud that you did things your way, mate.
Yeah.
And
before we forget, because I know you mentioned earlier, I don't want us to not talk about it, is because you're obviously dedicated to your training, but you said the dieting you weren't so strict with. Was there anything in particular that were you down for, like just in general, or
bags of crisps?
Greed crisps. I used to, if I'm being really honest, as an amateur, I pissed weight. Walk around all day long, eat 3 meals, eat on way to weigh-ins. And I used to box at the same weight as an amateur as I boxed as a pro. Right. And probably after about 6 or 7 pro bouts, I just used to think, it'd be right. It'd be right. That little bit of that 2 chicken breasts won't hurt. And it weren't crap I were eating.
Right.
So don't get me wrong, I like my crisps. Like after I boxed,
I know you do.
4 tubes of Pringles on day after. But then day after that, I'd be back.
Yeah.
But I'd always go out for a meal with my family. Afterwards, me, my missus, and my son at the time, us 3 would go out for some food within 48 hours of me boxing. But like, it just greed, man. Like, not weighing your food out, having an extra slice of toast or whatever it is. It's just that, and it is that fine lines in boxing. You've got to be so disciplined. And £2, £3, £4, the difference in somebody's size. Like, for me, our boxing kids, I'm having to walk around close to that weight, what I need to box at. You might be boxing somebody who's had 10 weeks and come down from 13.5 stone to make 10 stone 12. The big kids or bigger kids. And that's probably more where the lack of discipline is. You don't have to have the greatest physique to be the greatest boxer in the world, and that's been proven. But some of these kids come down in massive and need 10-week camps, 12-week camps to make weight. But you're taking a phone call in 72 hours.
Yeah.
So
you have to be there.
You've got to be close to it. And then just little things like when you made your lad chicken nuggets and chips and he's left a couple of chips, do you nick them off plate? I wouldn't have used to, but then I got to a point, go on, I'll have them. Bang. Don't know, whatever it is, or I've had my tea, I'm hungry again. I might have 1 rice cake and a bit of peanut butter. I'll have 3 this time. Yeah. Or you just get greedier and then you think, it'll be all right this time. I'll sort it out next time, and it just gets worse and worse. But that is the hardest, I'm sure the diet is the hardest part, and it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle. And that's, if you don't live that lifestyle, it then is a diet. It is you're starving yourself for something that you want, and then it becomes not enjoyable. And for me, I love my food, man.
It's a good job he didn't live with Ben Davis, isn't it? He'd have been kicking the out of the kitchen, wouldn't he?
But like I said, Ben helped me out for quite a few fights, and always in the gym, always giving everybody knowledge. He's a brilliant bloke, man. And like, for what he used to give you the information for free, like if you're in the gym and help you out, people pay hundreds and hundreds of pounds for that. And I don't know if he still does it, but I know he set his own gym up and did all his... We're doing people at some point. I ain't spoken to him for a long time, but like at that period of time, like the stuff that he was giving, and like you've seen the shape that he used to get into, and like then he'd have these cheat days, and like you'd think, oh my God, that's more than I bet in a week. And then 2 days later, he'd be back at the same weight he were, whatever. But he's genius when it comes to food. But I mean, lack of discipline on food towards the end. Used to thinking, yeah, I'll be all right a couple more days. I'll only diet for a week or whatever it is, and just. That took the love out of it. When you're training to lose weight, the enjoyment goes. And I'm sure if you talk to anybody that's he's losing 2 or 3 pounds and he's losing stones and stuff like that. When you're battling against the time, that's the hardest part. But like I said, like I had a goal. I wanted 2 years, 20 fights, one or the other, and I was close enough. Yeah. I think I've walked away with my faculties intact. I'd like to think, where some people don't. But that was my goal. I achieved what I wanted to.
I think you should be very proud of what you've done, mate.
And I am. Like I said to you when you first messaged me ages ago, I can't remember if I showed my missus. I said to somebody, I'm like, is this a wind up?
Who's this weirdo?
Why somebody want to know what? Like,
I've been called a weirdo. I've been called a weirdo by everybody I've messaged.
We spoke a few times and got into and what you're doing for people is like, I never thought I'd be in this position to come here to talk to somebody, tell them about what I've achieved or not achieved or what I think is important. But like, you learn off everybody, and like you two giving people time of day and letting tell the stories and stuff is massive, because sometimes when you're in that away corner, nobody cares.
Yeah. Well, we do, mate.
They do care, but you know what I mean. You're not the one in the newspaper or on the social media. You're just the opponent, and you've gone to do your job. And that home fighter doesn't exist if you don't exist. And I think boxing now more than ever is probably struggling for away fighters.
I think so. But you know, there's still a few good lads out there, like I mentioned a few times on show, and I'm just glad that you're doing well, mate. You're settled. And like I said earlier, I think you should be proud you've done things your way, and you can walk away with your Volvo and be happy.
Yes.
And I'm quite happy to end it there, mate, if you are.
Have you brought the glove this week?
I most certainly have.
Right, makes a change. We'll get you to sign that, Liam. Right, thanks for coming, mate. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, don't forget me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime. And don't forget to get that photo.
I've got it today.
Journeyman Cave is produced by Ryan Carrier. Music by Ryan Carrier. Special thanks to Rhythm Inc. Studios for hosting. All views expressed are of the guests only. The Journeyman Cave and hosts bear no responsibility for any opinions given. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter @The Journeyman Cave.